Hello, Facebook family and friends.
So,
I have a special guest. I have the voice today. He's actually on camera.
don't get used to this, y'all.
I'm Terry Hatchett, and this is Frank Hatchett, and we are the Hatchett Chronicles.
Sup.
And today's subject is, where can I find a mate? This subject was inspired by someone. We always ask that you put in comments, or put in suggestions to what you would like to speak about or talk about. And somebody asked us to talk about where they can find a mate. The reason why I think the subject is good, baby, is because it's not one-sided. We're going to speak on my opinion as a woman and my husband's opinion as a man. And that's a good thing because so often we have one-sided conversations. Either women are talking to other women or men are talking to other men. There are a few where a couple talking, but for the most part, it's a one-on-one, especially women of color and men of color. We don't seem to have too many couples that are dealing with issues as a couple, as a whole. I don't know whether that is because of society or what, but it just appears to be that way. So this is something new we're bringing. We hope that it helps someone somewhere along the way. Okay. So the question was,
where do I find
a mate? Now, for me, everybody that knows me knows that I'm the type that, as a woman, I never believed in praying to God for a man. I never believed in searching for a man. I believe that the Bible says that when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. And so for me, that tells me that I'm not supposed to be looking for no man. He's supposed to look for me and find me. And so, but that also caused problems with me because in the interim of that, I never asked God about a man either. And so what happened was that when I got into bad relationships, when I went to pray to God about it, like, okay, why is this man doing this? This man is doing that. My answer was, well, you didn't ask me about him when you got him, so now you come to me. So with my husband, I didn't necessarily pray for a man. I still feel like a woman shouldn't pray for a man or go looking for a man. But what I did was, when he was presented to me, I prayed to God about him, about getting in a relationship with him. So my answer to women, how I feel on it, is I don't feel like, my consensus on it is that you should not be looking. Let them find you. However, there are details within that. There are subtitles for that. And we're going to talk a little bit about that a little later on, after we get my husband's opinion on where should I go to find a mate.
Fellas, if you're asking me where to go to find a mate, you should go to the church, because the church got the biggest freaks.
Y'all, that is my husband. I am so glad my mother-in-law is not online so that she could have a heart attack. And Mom, if you see this, I just don't. That's your son. That's all I can say. Listen, I just don't know. In Jesus' name is all I can say about it. But baby, that's a good point, because people would have but wait. I know you was just joking.
I want to clear that up.
I know you was just joking.
I want to clear that up because I don't want nobody to think that I'm some type of savage or something like that. You know what I mean? I love the joke. I love to laugh, and I love to have a good time. And for those of you that know me, y'all know that at any given time, you gotta expect what to expect, because I do what I do when I do it. So
I know you were just joking, but that is a good, because for real, some men and some women actually think that church is the place to go to find somebody.
That's not it. That's not it.
No, and the reason why that it's a yes and a no, and the reason why that's a yes and a no,
if you know what, I'll cut you off. I mean to cut you off, but the thing is if you go on to church to find a wife or a woman or a girlfriend, I think that with that being said, you need to be in church. You know what I mean? And if you're looking while you're in church, you should be praying and asking God if there's one there for you, and ask Him to reveal her to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that, you should just, put a suit on Sunday and go to church and see one, and then I'm gonna come back for a couple Sundays and see if I could
use it as a meet and greet,
right? Yeah, like
to find somebody.
Like it's like a lounge or a sports bar or something, or you know what I mean, or sit in the mall and lurk while they walking by or something like that. You know what I mean? If you're in church and that's what you're doing, and you're doing the right thing, and you're praising God, if that's what if that's on your mind while you're in church, what's on your mind should be the Word of God. But at the same time, we all are in the flesh, and if there's someone there that tweaks your interest, you talk to God about it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I think that the thing is, I don't think it's a question, where should I find a mate? I think the question is, are you ready for a mate?
That is the key. Because you can ask for a lot of things.
Exactly.
But are you willing to endure the road
that it takes to get that? Even with women who pray, because there are some women who pray for a mate. Now, I said I don't agree with that, but that's me. But for the women who do agree with that and do find that that's what they're supposed to do, here's my thing. Instead of praying for a mate, maybe an answer is praying to ask God if you are prepared for a mate. Or
pray to prepare you.
To prepare you, because that goes with there's a lot of responsibilities with having a mate. And it's not just, what type they are and what they do, but what you are and what you do. Because we have things about us. I saw that. See, you know what? I didn't pray for him. God said that I was supposed to have him, so I just listened. But there are things that we have to deal with inside of us. There are patterns. For instance, there's a young couple that I know, that the female I know very personally, and she has a pattern of picking the same type man. And then the relationship never works out. And she questions why. But it's not the fact of, she has to realize what's inside of her that makes her pick that type of man. And she has to fix the things that are within her. For women, and this is, you really have to be prepared for this, but there's a documentary, Juanita Bynum?
Mm-hmm.
Juanita Bynum, No More Sheets. And I have heard a lot of women say that they cannot deal with that documentary. I heard a lot of women say they wasn't ready for that documentary.
You know why? You have to be strong enough, and you have to be a woman's woman. And don't get me wrong when I say that. I'm not saying that every woman is not a woman's woman. But the thing is when you watch that, that's on a whole different level of woman. You have to know mainly what the Word of God says.
And you have to know yourself.
And you have to know yourself. And you have to know what the word submissive means in all tense. You understand what I'm saying? It's not just, he just want me to keep getting stuff for him. He wants me to do this. No, It's so much. It's so much
And you
different than
have to
that.
have a pride, a level of pride in yourself.
Yeah, you
And
have to love yourself.
yes, and an understanding of this is me.
Right.
You know, here I am,
Accept
accept me for who I am. All of my imperfections, my quirks,
whatever.
my craziness, whatever. This is me. But you first have to accept your quirks and your craziness and your whatevers first.
You have to know what they are.
Exactly.
Yourself.
We had a conversation before on Hatchett Chronicles about bringing baggage into a relationship, and I said that I don't say not to bring it because I think it's impossible not to bring baggage in.
It's somewhat
Yeah.
impossible to not bring baggage.
But it's how you deal with that
Right.
baggage that you bring
Right.
in. Have you unpacked it? Do you know what's in that baggage?
Right.
So that when your partner is dealing with you, they can understand because there are no mind readers. You know?
See,
so
if with that being said, just to piggyback off of that, if you're gonna bring luggage into a relationship, what you have to do is you have to be able to communicate with your mate. First of all, communication is a key. If you can't communicate, then you might as well leave the luggage in the closet because of the simple fact that the luggage may be too much for some people. You understand
that's
what I'm
true.
saying? And like you get into a situation and you thinking, 3 months down the line that everything is cool because when you meet somebody, their hair, you can smell their hair when you go to sleep, and I still smell like you from when you hugged me, and when all of that
All
new,
the
all of the
beautiful
new
things.
stuff, when all of that new 6 months, 8 months down the line, when all of that new stuff is gone, you still have to, you still have to know what you're doing and how to do and what to do with who you with. You understand what I'm saying? You can't just, flip and say, "Oh man, I didn't know this was like this," or "I didn't," and that happens because of not paying attention to what you're getting and what you have
And a certainty in you.
Right.
Of what you really
Right,
want.
exactly. Instead of settling.
Yeah, because sometimes you be like, well, I know he got this quirk, but we'll work it out.
Or I could change him.
Yeah.
I could change her. No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So for, anyone out there that has that mindset, I'm not, first of all, when I say things or when my wife says things, it's not to come down on anybody. I'm just giving, a sense of, I'm just giving information. Put it like that. If you don't know,
our opinion,
right?
Public
If you don't know what you want, then I really believe that you should hold off on settling for something. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't know what you want, don't even settle. And I know it's hard being by yourself sometimes. You do want companionship and stuff like that. And if that's the case, then, I know we all have friends, go to movies with somebody or play cards with somebody or sit on the phone and chit chat or whatever the case may be. But to jump into a relationship or a marriage is a whole different ball game.
Just to have somebody or be with someone.
Yeah, marriage is that's a ball on another court, and that's a whole other spectrum. So with that being said, if you're getting into a relationship, you need to know what it is that you need to know what it is that you want. You need to know that you don't have to settle. And like my wife always says, that Creflo Dollar did this. He did a speech, and his speech was asking questions, and it's okay to ask those questions. And if there's someone that you're trying to link up with, and you're asking those questions, and they're getting mad, then that situation is not for you. Those questions to ask is, how's your credit, or do you plan on buying a house, or
What do you look like when you get mad?
Right.
Is that your hair? What do you look like with no makeup on? I need to see you with no makeup on. I need to see you in your natural.
Is that your hair? Did you pay for it?
Exactly, And those questions, some people say they're materialistic, but they're really not, because
those are things you need to know, especially if you get into a relationship.
Exactly. And you made a point about being alone. Like you spoke about being alone. One thing that resonated with me is, if you can't be by yourself,
what makes you think you can be happy with somebody
you
else?
definitely can't be happy if you don't enjoy yourself. My husband and I was talking the other night, and I was telling him about how when I was younger, I didn't like to go places by myself, or go out to eat by myself, or go to the movies by myself. It made me feel uncomfortable. And during the summertime, I went through a phase, I guess you call it. And I decided to be by myself. And I took myself out. And I was telling my husband, that was the most wonderful experience I've had in my life on a date. I mean, I took myself out to eat. And I wasn't cheap with myself either. I took myself to Chuck E. Cheese and I sat down and I ate it. And I mean, not Chuck E. Cheese, but Cheesecake Factory. Cheesecake Factory. Thank you for the Cheesecake Factory. And I ordered a full course meal with a dessert. I mean, I just really enjoyed myself and being with myself. And I just thought I was like the bomb date. I just had just the most wonderful experience with myself. And it taught me a lesson, that I could be by myself and did not feel awkward or nothing. I took myself to the movies, and I mean, I was really turned on by me. I was really impressed by me.
You know something? That's just like guys. That's just like us. On say you work all week, and Friday night you take it down. And Saturday morning you get up early, and the first thing you want to do is, after you get out the shower, you get dressed, you want to go get a haircut. That time that's like a by yourself date. If you go to get a haircut, but if you go by yourself, you go, you hop in the car, you're on your way to the barbershop, you get out, you go into the barbershop, they got the barbershop talk that the barbershop is like it's like a clubhouse type of thing, you know what I mean? And you go, you sit there, you chop it up with everybody, you wait for your cut, you get your cut. Once you get your cut, you leave, you hop in the car, you feel like a brand new man, you feel a brand new person. You ride, you got your music on, it's sunny outside, you know what I mean? You stop off, grab something to eat or something. That's a date by yourself, and it feels good. There's nothing wrong with that feeling. That feeling is a good feeling. So if you could have that feeling with having someone else, then it makes it all that much better. You know what I mean? But if
first you gotta have that feeling with yourself.
With yourself, exactly.
If you have the consensus of, I can't be by myself, and get on then you're gonna get on somebody else's nerves being with them.
A question, right? Is it for women? I can't be by myself. What is it that makes a woman feel like she can't be by herself?
You know what I think it is, and I'm not sure.
I mean, just your opinion.
I think that for a woman, because of society saying that, through the years, in the past years, society has made a woman feel like that something was wrong with her if she didn't want to have kids, or she wasn't with a man. And society has imprinted that in women, that there's something wrong with that. There's not, a long time ago, back in the day, I was working at this place. I'm not going to say the name of it. But there was this girl there, and her boyfriend had been together forever and a day. And everybody used to ask her, when y'all gonna get married? When y'all gonna have kids? And she used to say, I don't want any kids. I'm too selfish for kids. And everybody thought that was the most terrible thing because she said that she didn't want any kids. And actually, that was one of the smartest things that I've ever heard because of the fact she knew herself well enough to know that she did not want kids. Where there are people bringing kids into this world
and not even ready for
and not ready for them, not treating them right, but just because society says that that's what a woman is supposed to do, get married and have kids. And even though that's the old way of thinking, that's still remnant, that's still in society, that's still stuck from generation to generation, that women think that they're supposed to have somebody, they're supposed to be with somebody. It also comes back to knowing yourself. Like when we talked about Adam and Eve, Adam was a pair, but Adam did not know himself. And he looked around and he saw everybody. He was so worried about what the grass was greener on the other side. He saw everybody else with a pair that he could not get past that to look inside himself and see that he was already a pair. And so what God had to do was take Eve from his rib to show him, see, you was already two. You was already a duet.
A
dual. You was already great. But you couldn't see it because you was too busy looking at what somebody else had or what somebody else was doing.
And with that being said, what's good for everyone else is not good for you.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, what you eat won't make me use the bathroom. Basically.
And that's like, and especially with black women, we have a tendency, our friends, we have a tendency to let our friends, for lack of a better word, kind of get in our head. And, black women get together and, girl, you should do this. And girl, this is how, and give you advice that not necessarily is accurate. Because what we have to realize is we have to deal with ourselves and all the insecurities within ourselves before we can go and connect with someone else. And really be one with someone else. And we also have a problem with letting our friends and family tell us what's best for us. And that comes from, again, not knowing ourselves and having insecurity about ourselves. So back to your question, baby, I think it's all that rolled up into one. Our insecurities, the society says rule, that's wrong, and our friends. And we will have, especially black women, they will have 5 friends, and before the friendship, they were cool with being by themselves, being a working woman or, having their own. And they get with their friends and all of a sudden they start to feel like there's something wrong with that. Yeah. That they got to have somebody. And the fact is that you don't have to have somebody. But when you're ready, and ready entails a whole lot of finding out who I am. Yeah. Finding out what makes me tick. What I like about myself. What I don't like about myself. Can I deal with somebody in my life at this point? Can I share? I always said that there was a period where I went through celibacy and it was just me. And for a time, once I learned what celibacy was, because to be honest, the first month or two in celibacy, I was losing my mind because I was like, oh no.
You were celibate?
Yeah, I was celibate.
Was anybody buying a bit?
You know what, man? And so for 2 months, I was losing my mind. Once I got over it and I started to enjoy and started to learn me, then it was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm not ready for anybody because I'm not ready to share my time. And sharing my time means that I have a certain qualification for myself, a level with myself that I like when I deal with a man. Like, for instance, I like to cook for my man, I like to serve my man. That's what I like. But there are times when I'm just not ready for that. There's times when I don't want to do that. Well, there was times in the past where I did not want that or want to do that. And during my celibacy time is a time that I really didn't want that. I didn't want to serve nobody. I wanted to get up when I wanted to get up. I wanted to change my sheets when I wanted to change my sheets. I didn't yeah, but that's different. I didn't want to share. And so when I was ready to share, then I knew I was ready for a mate.
Right.
And I went through a period where, no, I'm good with me because I don't want to have to answer to nobody. Mm-hmm. And as terrible that seems, which is not really terrible to answer to somebody, and answering to somebody in the sense of, hey, I'll be late coming home because they worry. Not answering to somebody I'm not talking about the controlling answering them, but just, being respectful of your mate. And so one of the things that I did do when my husband and I got together was talk about those things that we liked and disliked, and that we were ready. Were we prepared for a relationship? Were we prepared to compromise and give of ourselves? Like, my husband asked me a question. We were just talking about this today. When we were talking on the phone, my husband asked me, he said, well, would it bother you if I'm a little bit, well, how did you put that?
I said, would it bother you at times if I was a little controlling?
Exactly. And so I thought about that today because it was funny to me, because I know the past me, and I'm talking way, way back. What do you mean? Yes, that would, because I don't want no controlling man. But I have grown. And so when he asked me, at the time that he asked me that, I kind of chuckled and I was like, no, I expect you to be in control. That's a part of the things that I like.
And when I said that, when I asked you that question, that wasn't like cracker whip control.
Well, we understood that because we talked about that, remember?
Right. And, a lot of people may get that misconstrued, but for a man to be a man in a relationship, he has to have some type of control of the relationship.
He is supposed to have some type of control, in my opinion. Once again, this is my opinion. But yes, he is supposed to have some type of control in the relationship. Because...
Hey, sis, what's happening?
That's his job. Hey, sis! Because that's his job. As I said, I believe from the Bible saying that the head of the household is the man. And so if you do not let a man be a man, how can you expect him to be a man? Exactly. And that sounds like I'm double talking, but if you think about it, it is what it is. How do you expect... on one hand, we will say, we want our man to be a man. I don't want no punk. But then on the other hand, you take that away from him. You won't allow him to be that man and to make those decisions.
And see, what happens is when it gets to that point, then what happens is you're not letting a man be a man, and it starts to build resentment. Whether you know it or not, or whether he says anything, but that's what happens. It builds resentment because of the simple fact that, like, I'm a man. Why is she telling me what I need to do and what that's a very hard thing.
Hey, Mustafa. He said salam, cousin Frank.
What's up? Oh yeah, that's my cousin. What's up, Mo? What's the deal, baby? That's a hard thing for a man to deal with. For a woman that's not going to be able to compromise with him.
I think that goes, and I think that goes back to knowing yourself. Right. If you're secure, and as a woman, if you are secure in yourself, like, I have no problem. I serve my man, and I'm proud to say I will serve my man. Because I'm not insecure about myself. There's nothing insecure about me. So I have no problem with serving my man. I have no problem to say, hold up, let me fix my man plate. I don't care where I am and what I'm doing. I have no problem with that. So it comes back to being secure in yourself, knowing who you are. Because again, sometimes your friends, although they don't mean any, yes, she does, because her husband said, exactly, my husband said, and I was saying that before I got married.
Sis, you know what? I love it.
But it goes back to sometimes your society will make you think certain things are wrong or that you're not supposed to do that. Like, or your friends, who do he think he is? Don't let him talk to you like that, child. And it usually are those friends who don't have man the first and having problems in their relationship. And that's why they're having problems in their relationship.
And with that being said, I'd like to chime in on that. I don't know a lot of men that do this, but ladies, and I'm not being chauvinistic or anything, but this is just a fact, and I'm going to put it out there, and like it, love it, hate it, whatever. But the truth is the matter, and sometimes the truth stings. When you're in a relationship, it's not all your girlfriend's business to sit there and tell them about what goes on in your house. What goes on in your house is between you and your man or your husband.
And God.
And God, right? So to sit at work and tell everything about your relationship, or if you ride the bus or ride the train or just sitting down having lunch, that's not cool to do that. Because when you start to get people in your relationship, then what happens is you're getting an outside entity that's getting into what you have at home, which should be sacred and private. You understand what I'm saying? That's your thing at home. That's what, when you leave work or you leave from wherever you go and you're going back home, and your home should be your rest and your peace and your serenity, right? So to have turmoil there, home is not home.
Not only that, you never know what that person's intentions are. Like I said before.
Misery loves company.
Exactly. Like I said first, the very person that's telling you, girl, I wouldn't take that if I was you, is the person that don't have no man and having problems in their relationship and probably trying to get to your man.
Yeah, I mean, but even if that's not the case, them trying to get your man. But the thing is you have to know your own household. Because nobody can run my household. Nobody from the outside can run my household. Family, friends, cousin, confidant, anybody. They cannot run my household. I run my household. That's it. That's it. And I'm not going to bring that outside stuff into my house because I want peace. This is where I seek refuge. You understand? And when I come into my house, I want peace. I want serenity. I want positive energy. I don't want no negative energy in my house. I don't want that. And I'm not going to have it. Right? So with knowing that, knowing yourself, and having communication with your mate, your wife, your girlfriend, whatever handle you put on it, you have to have that communication to where as though you know what's going on in your own house. And you know what I'm saying? And that was just to spin back to, saying that I can't allow a woman to dictate to me what manhood should be. You understand what I'm saying?
That's well put, baby.
I can't, but I can't.
That's well put.
A woman can't teach me how to be a man.
Exactly. I've always said that.
She can show me things as I grow up, but to a certain point, mom has to let go and let a man be a man. It
takes a man to make a boy a man. It takes a woman to make a woman.
Right. So with that being said, as I get older, here I am, 30s, 40s, and 50 years old, and my wife or girlfriend is barking orders. and she wants everything done her way, that's a lopsided relationship. And through all of those years that I'm with you, even though I love you, what's happening is you build resentment, okay? And you draw a wedge in between the both of you because the closeness is not there like it used to be, And then once you start noticing that closeness is not there anymore, then you start to do things that you wouldn't have done in those years before. You might stay out a little late now or try your luck and come home the next day. You understand what I'm saying? And then we know what happens after that.
Yeah.
The
door is open, the dirt will come in.
Right. And when the gate is open, the dog going to run out and play.
And 9 times out of 10, he's going to keep on running out
and
and
play. And as long as your gate is open, he's going to run and play and come back in. Mm-hmm. As long as there's a revolving door and it's an acceptance for that, then it's going to happen. But at the same time, that goes back to the topic of this discussion. You have to know what you want in order to
and
be...
And who you are.
Right. In order to deal with a relationship, to be in a relationship with someone else, you have to know what you want. You have to know your worth. You have to know what you'll stand for, what you'll put up with, and what you won't.
And be honest about it, because 9 times out of 10, and this has happened to me in the past, whereas I will sit down in the beginning of the relationship, have a conversation about all the things that I like, don't like, the lines I will cross, and they will look at me and smile and nod, me too, me too. And we get 3 weeks in a relationship and they're looking confused like, but you thought what? I said in the beginning.
That's a good thing to do. When you meet someone, you definitely put everything on the table at the beginning. You put your cards on the table, certain cards on the table. You don't put your whole, but the important thing, one thing that I believe in, that I stand by, as far as a relationship is concerned, and then when you first meet someone, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie.
Or say I like something and I don't like it.
I'm not going to do that because I can't lie. I can't.
Not hopping on the women, but we women do that a lot. We go through changes and do things that we would normally do just to get with that person. And then when we get with that person, then we go back to normal, and it's like
yet again, not knowing yourself.
Yeah.
Yet again, not having that communication.
And like Craig Flo Dollar said, because in the beginning we was talking about, and trust me, I'm not in agreement in everything that Craig Flo Dollar does or says, but this was on point. Like we said in the beginning, if you do feel like your mate is in church, just because they go to church does not mean that that's your mate. You need to find out the motive. What is the motive for that relationship? That's important. What's the motive?
Why do you like me?
Yeah. And for single people, my husband and I had this conversation the other day too. For single people, if you don't have no kids, you young, you single, okay, then you have an opportunity to bounce around and find out, oh, that didn't work. I don't like that. But if you got kids, especially if you have children, you can't afford that opportunity
to bounce around like that.
To say, oh, I like this person because they good in bed, or I think I love this person. Why? What is your motive? What is the point? Because after everything is said and done, what do that person do for you? What do you do for that person? Mm-hmm. Besides the sex or
whatever it could be.
Yeah, whatever it could be. Because they take you out to eat. What?
You can eat at the crib.
Really? What is the motive? That is so important. And again, here's the thing. When you ask questions, be prepared for the answer. Don't ask questions that you don't want to know the answer to.
That's right.
Because and again, we're not hopping on women because I'm a woman and I don't want, but we are. The bottom line is I'm very truthful. We are something else to contend with.
Women deal with feelings and emotions.
Yeah, and what we do is we'll ask a question, and if we get an honest answer, we'll get offended and get mad. So
that's if the answer that you expect is not what you get.
Yeah, exactly. And so then we got an attitude, and what that does is a lot of women say, men lie all the time. But we put them in that position because then the next time they're not so willing to answer truthfully because the last time it caused
a problem.
And
then once that happens and you keep asking questions and asking questions, then it's like you don't want to answer any questions anymore because now you've taken a part of yourself as a man away, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not going to be with anybody that I can't be honest with. Honesty is it's a great policy. Because good, bad, or indifferent, at the end of the day, should anything happen, you can always say, I told you the truth. I've always told you the truth, no matter what. Through the rain, through the wind, through the daisies, through the rose petals, through the fire, through the rocks. I've always told you the truth. I've always been truthful with you. So with that being said, the communication level should be on point, especially if you are not going to allow yourself to lie to someone or allow yourself to believe someone's telling you the truth. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to sugarcoat nothing for me. And we should all feel like that.
And
it's okay to feel like that.
What that does, let me tell you what that does. Society will have you to believe, all men lie, and you can't trust them, and you can't, like, if I said, for instance, I know my man. Can't nobody tell me nothing about my man. Somebody can come in here right now and say, your man did so and so. And if it's not true, and I know it's not, I'm going to say, that ain't true. And when you ask me how I know, it's because we have that relationship. There's nothing that my man is afraid to tell me, and there's nothing that I'm afraid to tell him. So that it builds a trust, a wonderful trust that can't nobody take away.
That's right.
Nobody can take that away.
That's right.
But when you have to curb what you say or worry about what you say or can't answer direct, that opens that gate.
And man, when that gate is open, it's a recipe for destruction, because then what you're doing is instead of getting the right answers that you need right there at home, you're searching for answers other places. And what you have at home is not what you're going to get out there in the street. You're going to get so many different things. You got to get 7 or 8 different women. I'm speaking from a man's standpoint. You got to get 7 or 8 different women to make up the one that you have at home. You understand what I'm saying? Especially if the one that you have at home is the right one for you. You understand? Like, you are tailor-made for me. I can't find another you out there. I can't.
My husband said.
I see, I can't even talk. I give her a compliment and she get all fruity. She start,
thank you, sis.
Riding around.
Did you hear my husband say?
But just, we're saying.
She said yes.
We're saying. Y'all crazy. But we're saying that, you have to, you can't look for those, anything outside. You deal with that on the plane that it is. When you go outside, that's what you deal with outside. But when you come home should be, like I said earlier, that should be your resting place. That's your sanctuary. Mm-hmm. That's where you can relax and have your peace at. And I don't want any of those outside footprints. I don't want that. Nothing. I don't want none of that in my house. And especially as you get older, you know what I'm saying? Because I ain't no spring chicken no more. But, when you start to get older, that turmoil and negative energy and all of that, it gets to be tiresome. Like, I don't want no more drama. I'm not willing to put up with drama. We knew that when we came in because we talked about that. And we had an open discussion about it. We put all the cards on the table and had numerous discussions about a bunch of different things. You know what I mean? A bunch of different things. And it's okay to do that.
And life
It's
is oh
okay
so much
to do
sweeter.
that.
Oh, so much sweeter. When you can just put your cards. I am very comfortable in me. And I'm comfortable in me because God gave me a gift of a man that accepts all of me, whatever it is. I mean, I have crazy. I have about 50 different personalities going on up here.
Yeah.
But my husband knows every last one of them by name. And it's okay. It's okay. You know, I don't tiptoe. I don't have to tiptoe.
Now, that's one of the cards that she didn't put on the table. You understand?
He knew I was crazy.
Hey, look, she put that card on the table.
He knew I was crazy.
We was already.
My sister told him. My sister told him. She kept telling him there is no refunds, and he should have known when after he gave me the engagement ring. She was like, "Everybody got their ticket."
She said, "You're stuck with her now. That's yours." I was like, "Yeah, all right, that's what's up." Yeah. And then down the line, I'm like, "Yo, wait a minute. I ain't signed up for that." No, wait, no. That ain't.
And he tried to go back and get a refund, and she was like, "No, refund."
She closed the door on me. Made me standing outside with my prize.
I can't. But seriously, this is, in my opinion, this is what a real relationship is all about. So finding a mate is not just to say, you know, where do I find the mate? Back to the subject. It's not as simple as that. It's not like, it's almost like having kids. There is no book. There is nothing that you can go to know how to raise a child. Right. Because at the end of the day,
or get into a relationship,
it's going to be what it is.
Things just,
it's the same thing.
Things just I want to say things just happen, but with saying things just happen, the best thing, instead of searching, what you need to do is soul search first.
Exactly. Oh, baby. Oh, that's so sexy.
No, that's
that was like on point.
That's what you
don't search, soul search. Yeah. That was so on point,
but
baby.
That's what you need to do before
that was good.
You try and get a mate. You have to soul search first to find out what it is that you want, what it is that you'll accept, what it is that you need, what it is that you'll accept from someone, what you expect from them. Are you willing to compromise certain things? I mean, these are all the questions. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, because
it's a family show.
My husband said.
But, you know, these are all things that you need to know before you step out to want a relationship. To get into a relationship, not to want one, but to get into one. I mean, look, we go to the lounge and, you know, we go to a bar or we go to the mall or whatever, you know, and you meet someone. It's okay to take it slow, you know, and dudes, like, and I'm speaking from a man's standpoint, just because a woman smiles at you or she thinks you're sexy or she gives you a hug because she likes you, she likes the way you look at her or likes the way your eyes look or your hair or whatever, that's cool. But that doesn't mean that when you get behind closed doors that she's going to come out of her clothes just because she likes those things. That's just something that she likes. You need to sit down and find out who that woman is and get to know her and get to know what she's like, get to know what she'll put up with. And you got to let her know what your quirks are and, you know, your silly things and you're crazy and all of that too. Because at the end of the day, if you don't do that and you just jump into something, I'm telling you what I know. What I know is what I know. Down the line, that's an appetite for destruction. It'll end up in a destructive way. And then at this point, once it ends up like that, you have to think about what you're getting into and what you're doing. Now, okay, so you courted for a year and it's over now. And now it's gotten so bad towards the end that two people that met and started a friendship don't even want to continue a friendship again. You understand what I'm saying? And especially if you're adults. Okay, look, you come across all kinds of people in your life, right? So if you and I had a relationship and it didn't work out, I believe in my heart that it's still okay to be friends with this person. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that. That's just someone that came into your life. It didn't work. Okay, we're grown-ups. We don't have to act like we're in high school and I got to walk past you doing one of these. I don't want to look at you. And you know what I mean? Like, that's that. Look, we're adults here. You know what you was doing when you got into it. Now, if your motive or your purpose for getting into it was a second hidden agenda, then that's on you to know, and that's on you to understand that when you went for that, that's what you was looking for. So basically, at the same time, you get what you put out. You get what you put out. So if you was looking for a quick one and you got that, that's it. That's all you're going to get out of that situation. And no matter, you can stay with her for 10 years and never get to know the core of her heart, to find out who she really is, because your agenda was just to hit and quit.
And for my young sisters, you cannot raise no man like you raise your child, okay? You can't say, well, I see something in him, so I'm going to teach him. That goes back to trying to raise a woman trying to raise a man to be a man. You can't do it. You can't have a baby to keep him. You can't raise him to keep him.
That's right.
You can't pay him to keep him.
That's right.
If he is for you, he is for you.
And if he's not, he's
and
not.
if he's not,
there's no gray area. There's no in between.
There's can't
no hot and cold.
Keep giving him sex, thinking my sex will keep him. No. If he is for you, he is for you. If he is not, he is not. And there is nothing you can do about it. Either way.
And if you guys are still, you know, going at it every once in a while, you link up and you go at it, and then, you know, you don't see each other or whatever the case, and then you go at it and you link up and you go at it, and then, you know, you don't see each other, and it's an ongoing thing. That only thing that is doing is when you get in that moment and get in that mood, that's who you call, and that's just like a baby crying and you give them a pacifier. It will satisfy for that moment. But when that moment is gone, can you lay down at the end of the day and be happy about the way things are going with your life as far as a relationship is concerned or a significant other?
Love does not a relationship make.
No, not at all.
And, you know, it's like, okay, well, what does that mean and why doesn't it? Love is included in a relationship, but it's not what a relationship makes.
A relationship is, my opinion only, this is what I live by and what I stand by. For me, a relationship is, first and foremost, is respect. Respect is a number one thing in my relationship, because I will never disrespect this woman. I will never call her out of her name. I don't use those 4-letter words when I'm talking with her. Those are just things that I will not do.
Well, it is. It's 5.
Some of them are 5. And some
he lived in Plainfield. I think he went to Plainfield. Okay.
You know, but it's respect of her and respect for yourself. That's very important to me. And then you have loyalty, trust, and, you know, the other things that come with that. Communication. Communication, I'm a stickler for communication also. Because if you don't know, you don't know.
Mm.
And I cannot be accountable for something that I don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
If you have an attitude with me and I ask you, babe, what's wrong? Nothing. Don't lie to me. Don't tell me that there's nothing wrong when I can read your demeanor. I want to know what's wrong. We don't have to argue and scream and yell about what's wrong. Tell me what's wrong. I can help. I'm here to help. This is what I'm here for. I'm here to help you relieve that burden. Let's figure it out together. You know what I mean? I need to know what's wrong. So those are just little things that I do that work for me. I don't know if it may work for some of y'all. Y'all could try it, but it works for me. And those are the things that I look for in a relationship. And when you have those things, that's knowing what you want and being sure of yourself. And you get what you put out. Point blank, period. You get what you put out. So if you don't put out respect, you won't get that back. If you don't put out loyalty, you won't get that back. If you don't communicate, you won't get that back. If you don't, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you get what you give. You get what you give. And it's as simple as that. You get what you give.
What works for me is what does it for me. What everybody has something that, some people like somebody who has money and can buy them things all the time. That does it for them. I'm not knocking it. It ain't me, but some people like that. That's what does it for them. Does it for them. Somebody wants somebody who some people want people who can sex them up all the time. That does it for them. Okay, for me, what does it for me? My husband is perfect for me because he handles me. He knows how to. He understands.
You better know it.
My crazy. He understands. He knows how to calm me when I'm in my fit and can't nobody else and I'm blabbling on and I'm ready to cut somebody. He knows what to do and what to say without even opening his mouth to calm me down. He knows the look to give me to calm me down. That's what does it for me. He allows me to be the woman I am and not disrespect it or take advantage of it. Like I'm the type of woman who likes to serve my man. My man says thank you to me so much that sometimes it gets annoying. But
that's a first.
I was just thinking about that today. I'll take you about that later. But what I'm saying,
Hatchett Chronicles are good because they start pulling out you don't know about.
What I'm saying is that he allows me to be the woman that I want to be without taking away from that. Like for him to take advantage that I like to serve him. Take that away from me. He doesn't take away from my womanhood. And that's what does it for me. So he gives me what does it for me. So is a part of knowing yourself is knowing what does it for you. What type of mate does it for you or give you what you need. He gives me what I need. And that's why he's my husband. And along with that is the communication and the honesty. That's all in there. But the main things is that he gives me what I need. He does it for me. But if you don't know what you need, or if you don't know yourself and what does it for you, then you can't possibly be on one accord with your mate. Yeah, because you're not going to get it. You can't possibly expect something of your mate that you don't even know yourself. You want love, but you don't want it to this level. And what is this level? I don't know. You just got to figure it out. There's already enough that comes with a relationship without you adding extra to it. Without the burden of trying to figure out what level do I get to before it's the right kind of love for you. And if you don't know, how do you expect your mate to know?
Right.
So, in going back to where do I find a mate, I think that a deep answer to that would be inside yourself.
I was going to say soul search.
Mm-hmm. Inside yourself.
Your mate should be yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
That should be your mate. And once you find your mate within yourself, then it's okay to look, for something different. I mean, or for someone that, will be able to give you what you need, just know yourself and know what you want. And when it comes to that, don't compromise, don't settle, because you don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to settle. You don't have to compromise. You want what you want, and that's what it is. Bottom line, you may not get all of the things that you want in a person, but man, listen, if you can get 70% of all that you expect out of a person, that's all right, because that 30%, that'll fall by the wayside, once time picks up, like everything is you're not going to get 100% perfect in a person. You're not going to get that. But you can strive
I'm not 100%
if
perfect.
you listen before you cut me off, you can work towards 100%. You can work towards that. That's a goal that both of you can. This is not the question and answer section right here. This is not. We're not doing. We're doing this for them.
Okay.
This is not.
My husband said.
Let me tell you something. If you have a wife or a girlfriend or someone that likes to ask you 700 questions, we can definitely make this the topic for our next Hatchett Chronicles. If that's something that you want to talk about,
those 700 questions works. Okay.
Yeah, they worked in the beginning, and we answered all of them, and then
there's still more. Life is still going on. There's always a question. Like for instance, like for instance, just today I saw this video on Facebook, and it was just a girl. It's been on Facebook for a while, but anyway, her best friend, she left her cousin at the house with her man while she went to work, and her man was in the room. And when he came out the room, when she went to work, he was in the room watching the game or something. And then all of a sudden he heard a lot of pots and pans, and he went banging, and he went outside in the kitchen, and the cousin was there in her bra and panties. And he went back in the room and locked the door and called his girlfriend, and he was like, "When you coming home? Man, I got something to tell you when you got home. Come home." But he was in the room when she came home, and the girlfriend met her at the door, fully dressed. The cousin met her at the door, fully dressed, and said that her boyfriend tried to make a pass at her. And so she went in the room and she accused the boyfriend. But the story actually goes deeper than that, because what happened was it was a setup so that she could get the boyfriend out the house so she could cheat on the boyfriend. However, before I saw that part, I asked my husband, I was like, so if this happened to you, what would you do? Now, actually, it was a question that I already knew the answer to, and it was a question that I probably had asked him before, we had talked about before.
Several times.
But just because I saw that, I decided to ask him again. But it did lead to another conversation, baby. See, sometimes my questions that I ask again leads to something else. But sometimes it be leading to other things, because we end up talking about other things that we hadn't talked about, even though it's the same question.
Mercy. Right here, y'all. Right here on both sides, right here. You need to do like this. Those questions be coming like bullets, man. Like, would you leave me the hell alone? Question.
If I didn't ask questions, he'd be like, who are you?
It's good to ask questions, because you won't, like I said, if you don't ask, you don't know. And if you don't know, then
Yeah, like I could tell you a lot of things about my husband. Like, can't nobody tell me anything about my husband.
And nobody can tell me about her.
I
I can talk for her. I could go sit down somewhere, and for instance, if I went to buy a car, and for some strange reason she wasn't with me, I could go and buy a car that I know she would love, that she would be comfortable with. I know I could do that. And she could do the same thing. If I was out and I was going to grab something to eat, I know exactly what I could get her. Number one, she's allergic to everything. But anyway, I know exactly what I could get her, and I'll bring it home. And, sometimes you're in the mood for certain things and you're not in the mood for certain things. But I don't know. I don't know, but I know
what I'm in the mood for.
I could buy something, and when I come in with it, that is cool. That's what she wants. You know what I mean? So it's a blessing to get to that point with someone, and everybody's not gonna have that. And I pray that you do. I pray that everybody has that.
Everybody has
I pray that everybody has that, because that's something that we all need. It is beautiful. It's beautiful. That's something that we all need. Skip what you want. That's what you need. But with that being said, where to find a mate?
Inside yourself.
You find a mate inside yourself. That's where you find something. That's where you find your mate. I don't suggest, actually going out looking. Look inside yourself and figure out what you want, what you'll compromise with, what you'll do for, what you do without, or all of those things. Ask yourself some questions. What is it that I really want in a woman? This is for the men. What is it that I really want in a woman? What will I accept?
Can I handle it now?
Can I handle what I'm asking for? What will I put up with? What won't I put up with? And I don't mean just petty things like, I ain't going to put up with you coming in here talking to me while I got the game on. No. I mean, those are things, but, can you put up with if she has bad dreams at night? And
she did too deep.
No. I'm just saying. Like, what if you have a woman that was, scarred in a certain area? When it comes to her at her low point, can you deal with that? Is that something you can deal with? You know what I'm saying? These are things you have to ask yourself. And are you strong enough? Are you a man enough to stand there and deal with that? Or are you going to bail out? These are things that you have to ask yourself. If you're with a woman and God forbid something happened and she had to get her leg amputated or a hand or something, can you stand the test of time and be there and still love her heart and not the part of her that got chopped off? Are you going to still be able to love the heart of that woman? Or are you going to spin off because now you can't look cute at the mall with her? You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the things you ask yourself. And when it gets down to that, then you'll be able to find what you're looking for
if you
and
got
who you're looking
stuck
for.
Stranded with her for 24/7, and there was no TV, there was nothing, you just had to sit with her for 24/7.
Could you be happy with that? Could you be happy with that? Genuinely happy? Could you be genuinely happy? I mean, a butt-gusting laugh and everything. Could you be genuinely happy with that? And if that's something that you don't feel you could be happy with, then I don't suggest you go searching and looking or settle. You need to just look inside yourself. That's where you find.
And for women,
your mate.
It's okay to be lonely. It's okay to sit and wait. It's okay if it seems like the whole world has a man besides you. It's okay. Because that means that God is working for the one for you. Mm-hmm. Trust me when I say, you don't have to say nothing. He knows. He's fixing that one. He's building that one from ground up just for you. Mm-hmm. But also, you need sometimes you need to look deeper than that man's car, even that man physical, you know, or that man's job,
or his pocket.
His pocket, you know, it's deeper than that. It's about can you be a helpmate to that man? You know, can he give you and make you so satisfied that if you were sleeping in Grand Central Station, all you would care about is if he was with you. You know, that's
real.
That's the realness of it.
That's real.
And until you acquire that total satisfaction, it's okay. You don't pray, oh Lord, I'm so lonely, why he gonna send me? How about, Lord, hey, if you work on me. Prepare me for that one, that gift that you're about to put in my life, so that I
will be worthy of
that gift. Yes.
All right, people, with that being said, we're going to sign off.
We appreciate you once again. If you, again, we ask for suggestions for topics.
Any comments? Any topics? Anything. If there's something. And here's something I want to say too. When you guys watch this, if there's something that we helped you out with, because we don't know who we're helping, but we just ask God to give us the strength to do this so that maybe we can touch someone, or some two, or some three, whatever the case may be. If we have done one of these Hatchett Chronicles and you've watched them and one of them helped you, let us know. We would really appreciate that.
Yeah, you can go, just because we're not live, Hatchett Chronicles is on Facebook. You can always go
to the page and you'll see all our videos.
Yeah, we'll communicate with you if you just want to write something in Hatchett.
Right.
Please feel free to do
leave a message in the inbox. Leave a comment in the inbox. You can post on our page if there's something you want to post, if there's a conversation you want to have. And at the same time, it doesn't always have to be waiting for us to go live to have a conversation. If there's something that, you know, maybe you want to talk about, or something that may ail you at that time and you feel like we can help you with it, if you want to just leave us a message in the inbox, we read them. We read all the comments. We read all the inboxes. We get everything. And if you just drop us a line, we'll definitely get back with you and we can have a conversation. If we need to exchange numbers through inbox so we can talk, that's fine too. So if there's something that we helped you out with, just, let us know that what we're doing is blessing somebody out there. That's prayerfully that, that's what this whole thing is for. That's the reason why we do this. And, y'all know me, I don't really like to be on the camera, but my wife this is something that is near and dear to her heart. So I'm just showing my support, because whatever she does, I'm going to support her 1,000%, and I'm going to go hard with it just like she would. So I'm on this camera because of that. If it was up to me, I'd be off in the corner somewhere yelling my slurs and stuff like I usually do. So this is the first Hatchett Chronicles that I've been on camera, and y'all going to see me some more. Don't get used to it too fast, but I'm here. I'm here. And I love my wife, so this is why I'm doing it. And I'm doing this against my own will. So if I can do that against my own will, y'all can too. This is some things you got to work with yourself. That's all. And if you love them like I love her, if you love your mate like you're supposed to, then there should be nothing that you can't compromise with, and come to a medium so that both of you can enjoy what the outcome of that compromise is. So with that, we signing off. This is the Hatchett Chronicles. I love y'all. Sis, I love you. I'm going to call you. We coming to see you and all of that. And God bless.
Peace.